Life is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time.
Hi, I'm Amanda,
And I'm Nikki.
and welcome to Working Mom's Wine, where we drink a bottle of wine
And whine about our crazy, busy, stressful working mom lives while trying to come up with resources to help along the way, or just hang out and have fun in book club.
That's right, because we've got a couple
That
more
is a
weeks.
resource. It's
That's right.
self-care.
Self-care. Do you notice anything different?
Anything different? Did you dye your hair?
Not yet, but I might try it in a minute.
It always looks darker in a ponytail, so it's hard to tell. But
That's fair.
Anything different?
About
No.
our interaction.
Oh, you got a new headset.
No.
No?
No.
Your microphone looks different. I don't know then.
What are we not struggling with right now?
The internet.
The internet.
Did you get some sort of booster?
We got extenders. And
Yay!
I was like, this is going to be the real test right here, is how the podcasting goes today. And we got through that whole intro without pauses.
We sure did.
Well, I have a 2022 Peace Border Goldtropfen, however you say German stuff. Riesling. It's a Riesling.
Oh my.
We went to Friar Tuck's, and I just stocked up on a few things that looked interesting. So we are on section 3 of John Marr's The One. If you're reading along, that is chapters 53 through 79. There might be a little bit of disconnect from what I told you earlier. I can't remember, but if one of the chapters is off by a little bit, just know that now we're doing 53 to 79 and catch up. So if you haven't read those yet, go read them and come back.
That's right.
And if you have, feel free to tell us in the comments what you think. So should we just start with Chris?
Okay.
What is that about?
I don't like him. I mean, I don't know that many people probably do because he's a serial killer, but
I just think it's
I can't stop thinking about that stupid section about him running in those shorts, and I just think he's gross.
It's just an interesting match that he ended up having.
It's a very interesting match. Very interesting match.
Yeah. And in this section, we see that he starts to lose interest in what he's doing. So his whole thing was that he wants to become infamous, basically, and how he's going to do it is he's going to kill a specific amount of people, and then he's going to stop and just go on to live his normal life with Amy, and it's just going to give him such joy that the police can't ever figure out who did it and why they did it and why they stopped. So 30 is kind of like, he didn't have a reason for picking 30, but that's what he decided he was going to go with. They do throw some random things out like, oh, well, that's when Jesus entered his ministry and the number of this and that and whatever. But he says basically that it was an arbitrary pick.
Yeah. And we do learn in this section that he uses burner phones at all times, and he just has many of them. So my question last time about why would you answer the phone while you're at a murder and get pinged at your location, that's because he has like a billion burner phones that aren't under his name. So
yeah. But I thought
solves that problem, I guess.
But when he talks to Amy, isn't he talking to her on his regular phone?
I think he just had a phone. I think they say that he had a phone that Amy knew as his phone, but then it was just one of his burner phones.
Okay.
Like that he doesn't, they're not burner phones in that they're extra from his regular phone. They're just all he has.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
So they're not something that he registered with a contract and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So he's
smarty pants.
Getting sloppier.
He is getting sloppier.
Is this the section where he accidentally lets it slip, like him and Amy are talking about what they know so far about the murder, and he says cheese wire,
Yeah.
and she's like, "How did you know it was cheese wire?"
I think so. Let's see. This is where he falls asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
He introduces her to that waitress that he winds up putting on his list. I didn't put anything about the cheese wire. Maybe that was last time.
It might have been last time. But basically, all of this is adding up. He's letting things slip in conversation. He had the one murder that ended up being a little more grotesque because he got mad at them for not being in the room they were supposed to be in and making the whole process harder. He's falling asleep at murder scenes. What?
I wrote I said he has a haughty self-opinion about his 30 goal. It makes me want to barf, but he's slipping now, and I love that journey for him.
You need to read more of these notes verbatim. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. This whole section just really starts to ramp things up for what happens in the last section.
Yeah.
So
I said that notebook that he keeps with their pictures is going to be his downfall. I think it's gross that he kept the waitress's nose ring. And
yeah.
What did I say?
But he's kind of leaving that book out for the thrill of it too. Like he wants to see if Amy finds it.
Yes. He's definitely trying to like tempt fate a little bit there, and gets off on continuing to get away with it.
Yeah.
Which is, I hate to tell you, Chris, very typical murderer, serial killer stuff. So you are not so special, sir.
Yeah, you are not a unique snowflake, buddy.
No. What else did I say? Oh, when he said Amy was changing him, I said, "Oh gosh, you poor little baby. You don't want to smell their hair or watch their bodies decompose anymore. What a shame." I roll.
And here's the big question. Why not just stop then?
Why not just stop? And I also had a question about, Amy's a cop and she's familiar with these types of people, right?
Yeah.
He mentions that he's drugging her to sleep harder and longer.
Yes.
Why doesn't she recognize any, like when you wake up after being drugged, you typically know you've been drugged. You're fuzzy, you're heavy, or things don't feel right,
Right.
Especially as an adult who's been used to their sleep patterns for 30 plus years. You should know, girl, what's going on there.
And I don't know if it's specifically in this section, but he's starting to make excuses for being at work more, things like that. Work. And you would just think that all the red flags would be going off in her little police brain. And that's why at first I thought maybe this was a setup or something intentional, but it's been going on for so long at this point, that doesn't seem realistic.
You think they would have pulled the trigger on the setup by now?
Exactly. They would have already had enough to take him in.
Oh.
Then we get to our favorite couple, Nick and Sally. So this part gets kind of funny though, because like Deepak and Sumaira, or however you say her name.
That's how they say it in the audiobook.
Okay, cool.
Sumaira.
So Nick's just getting fed up with like the pretend perfection, and he's kind of depressed over the whole situation of Alex versus Sally, and he just decides not to watch his drinking at their next friend get together, and then calls out Deepak because him and Sumaira are always like, well, we were already dating and it turns out we were matched and we were just meant to be soulmates. And Nick's like, actually, that's not true, is it?
He called them out to the carpet.
It was great. I kind of wish it had escalated more, though, instead of him stomping off to his room.
Yeah. Well, Nick had confided in Deepak as to what was going on between him and Sally.
Yes. Yep.
And then he was so happy that his buddy kept his little secret. And I said, "Oh, gee, Nick, you're so happy your bud kept your secret so that you could be a dick to him." Like,
well,
what was that?
It's not completely like that because he's also like he has known for a while that his friend is not a decent person, that he's a cheater, that because like Sumaira's pregnant at this point, and Deepak's talking about um the pregnancy and how it's ruining his sex life, and oh, he can always hop on Tinder. And Nick's just like, I always knew he was this kind of a guy, but what the heck? This is stupid. And then when Nick asked him about him and Sumaira being matched, Deepak was like, yeah, we were. But he's like, he could look in Deepak's eyes and tell that, like, that was
Liar.
not a truthful answer. So I think he's also just getting fed up with, like, up up until the whole Alex situation, Nick has been doing things right, and Deepak has never been somebody who did things right, and him and Sumaira are like rubbing everything in their faces, even though
Acting
all
like
of
they're
it is a
perfect.
lie. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if he's right about Deepak and Sumaira, because he was just,
Yeah.
guessing at the fact that
Like,
they
this
aren't
is his
soulmates,
perspective.
although he
Right.
knows that he's been not faithful or whatever. So
Right. Yeah. And I think that to him is
pretty
like
safe guess.
a big enough thing in and of itself
Mm-hmm.
is that he hasn't been faithful.
Yeah,
But after that blow up, Sally basically confronts Nick, and
this
Nick
part.
admits to continuing to see Alex behind her back, which I don't care how platonic you're being, if you're seeing someone behind someone else's back and
Not the
it's
right
someone
move.
right, that's a bad thing on Nick in my opinion.
Yeah. It's not an
But
affair, but it's the stuff that leads up to it. So what are you doing?
right, the emotional cheating, if you will.
Yeah.
So she basically, once she finds out that they've been continuing to see each other, she's like, okay, you need to go be with Alex. I'm ending this. Blah blah blah. And it's Sally's fault in the first place. They didn't have to take that test.
Yes. Yes. I said Sally backed out way too easy. Something else must be happening here.
Right.
First it's let's get to know, like let's get the information just to know, and then we can decide if we, are really soulmates, or we'll at least be prepared to fight
Right.
against it and like take extra care in managing our relationship and being good to each other, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly she's saying it's something she can't fight, and so she's just gonna like bow out gracefully. Like something is going on there. What are you
like
doing?
she's looking for an out.
Yeah. I was livid.
Yeah.
I said, why take it to start with then?
I know. So then Alex and Nick start hanging out more in earnest. Alex breaks things off with his girlfriend. Alex and Nick start getting to know each other.
Let's
and
get
then
physical.
And then Sally pulls a complete 180. She calls
Imagine
Nick up.
that.
She says, hey, guess what? Turns out I'm pregnant, and option 1 is you come raise this baby with me, and option 2 is I go get an abortion. And I feel like no matter what your thoughts are on getting those, that she's being very manipulative here and not a very good person.
Yeah. I am very pro-choice, pro-women's health, pro-reproductive freedom, but I am not pro-use abortion as birth control when the situation isn't exactly what you wanted it to be.
Yeah. And like
that's what she's doing.
Nick at this point, like he's already decided he's going to New Zealand with Alex. He is like, I believe,
starting a new
headed
life
to the airport
yeah.
or very close to when she throws this at him. Nick is torn between Alex and Sally, and he's trying to decide what he's going to do. And he's like, there's all this language in there that makes you think he's going to jump out the hotel window. And that's where they leave it.
Yeah.
So then we have Tim and Ellie. And of course, we all knew something was going to be up with little perfect Timothy.
So my first note is like, okay, all that security, the PIs that you hired to look at his history before you would even go out with him, and then you just ignore everything, like every red flag, like every single one,
because things were definitely popping up.
Yeah, someone comes up at the work Christmas party and remembers interviewing him, and you think nothing of it, like you do nothing to investigate that. Then he asks you
couldn't be anything.
Is this part of where he proposes? Is that part of this?
Yes.
Okay. So
To
then
be fair, anytime Brandon tells me that somebody looks familiar to him, I say, "You always say that."
But this is a woman who is known for her
No, yeah, she was head
photographic
of
people
personnel.
memory.
Yeah, and she would have been the one who like handled his interview and things like that.
Right. And then her sister, you know, Tim proposes and
Yes.
she asks, "Did you ask my dad?" And he says, "Yes, I did it on our little trip." And then her sister says, "No, he didn't. We were all surprised and we all kind of wondered why he didn't ask because we were expecting him to." Like, hello?
Right.
What are you doing? I said, "You are so careless here from after being so cautious at the beginning."
Yep. So there's all the lying. He came in for an interview and didn't get a job. And then
And the woman remembers all these specific things, like the camera wouldn't take his picture. And I even went and got a different camera and it still wouldn't work. Like,
yeah. And this is where my memory is a little fuzzy, but if I recall correctly, she basically eventually decides to do another dive into his background and see if she can figure out what's going on.
yeah.
And they figure out that his real name is Matthew,
Mm-hmm.
and that he is the son of someone who used to work in Ellie's lab way back in the beginning.
Hello. That's when you never see the man again and you make some moves.
You're right. This is also very weird, and especially because the lady, like Matthew's mom, is someone that Ellie took DNA from and matched, like started the whole match thing with like her DNA and some other people's DNA.
By stealing it. She didn't have
Stealing it.
permission to take it.
Right. So she stole the DNA, and that ends up having extremely bad consequences in the long run for Matthew's family, which we'll get into later. But what I really love is at the end of her section in this section, she walks into the office and he's like evil villain style at her desk chair, peering at her over the desk like, "Hello, Ellie."
Oh God.
It was just so like such the villain trope that I was
Dr.
just like, this is amazing. Yeah, like, where's your cat? Where's your cat, man?
I just said, "Wake up, Ellie. Where's your brain?" This feels like a strong deviation from her original character, which I did not like about the writing. I was like, this is so backward from who she was for the first half of the book. I hated that. And then I said, "Finally, you woke up."
Yeah, I get that, like, it might be a thing of she's not been serious about anyone for a while, and maybe she's, like, letting herself be blinded to an extent. But I do feel like it went too far for someone who's supposed to be, unless this is the whole, like, she's narrating this for herself. Maybe she thinks she's smarter and tougher than she really is.
Perhaps.
But yeah, it was a little like, really?
Yeah. But it was definitely eye-opening into her history and how she became where she was. Like,
yeah,
they called her Oscar the Grouch because she would steal trash from the trash cans to steal people's DNA. And nobody stopped her, though. Like,
yeah.
What's happening?
Mandy's in a cult.
She's definitely in a cult, and she's blind to the whole freaking thing.
That family is getting weirder and weirder. What the hell? So
there's my notes on Mandy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I said she needs to get over her naive self and call her supposedly close sister, who she has completely cut off suddenly with no good reason.
She cut off her whole family.
Come on. And I said, what the heck possessed her to call his ex? But oh my God, good thing she did, because in all capital letters and underlined and in bold, Amanda was right.
Oh, thank you.
Amanda was right. I said so much. I can't fathom meeting this ex-girlfriend, like having the balls to do that, but then finding out all of that they had asked her to have the kid first, and that Richard isn't dead.
He's not dead.
He's not dead.
I was right.
You were so right. He's in a vegetative state in a nursing home where he's been cut off from all visitors, basically.
Yep.
Shocker. And she explains that all the posts, none of them said he was dead. They just kind of were memorializing him because he wasn't ever going to be the Richard that they knew ever again, and probably wouldn't even ever wake up from this vegetative state. So it was like a funeral because it basically is.
Right.
That's
and
awful.
Mandy then decides when she finds out he's alive to go visit him. And so she goes and visits Rich. And pretty much the only reason that she got away with being able to do that is the fact that she was his match. So she goes and she visits him. Mm-hmm. And does she try to hold his hand? Is that what does it?
Yeah, she grabs his hand.
Yeah, and he starts to like react to it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh my gosh, maybe he's coming out of this. And she calls the staff and they're all like, nope, he's still a vegetable, basically. And she's talking to the doctor and she's like, then why did this happen? Why did it look like he was starting to react to me? And the doctor said that sometimes, because of how strong a match is, if he was like in a coma, it would be different. Maybe he would come out of it. But when they're in a vegetative state like this, that's not usually what happens. And there was probably some kind of bodily reaction that's automatic that he can't help, but it doesn't mean that he's starting to come back to consciousness.
Right. It's just his physical body reaction to his match being there, but the brain is not there still.
Right.
Heartbreaking.
So, yeah, that sucks. So now Mandy's found out she's talked to Michelle, she's found out the truth about Richard, and now she's got to decide.
Pat and Chloe.
Yes, yeah, and about Pat and Chloe, and now she's got to decide what she's going to do. So that leaves Kevin and Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Kevin.
Poor Kevin.
Poor boy.
So we're at the point where Jade and Kevin are going to get married.
Yes, he asks her to marry him, and she agrees to it. Because while she feels like she doesn't love him, she still cares about him, and she wants him to be happy in his last days.
Yeah.
So they get married, and it is very shortly after that Kevin passes away.
Yeah.
And now she's trying to decide what to do next with her life. And his family is like, they've offered her a car to drive around Australia and see the sights a bit before she goes back. And she's basically going to have a modern walkabout. She's going to explore Australia and explore herself. And I
put in my notes, like, remember at the beginning when she didn't have enough money to hop on a plane to go meet
Mm-hmm.
this man of her dreams? And now suddenly she has money to just roam the countryside for weeks? Like,
I think she's just going to throw it all on a credit card like she did with the plane ticket.
Come on, girl.
But maybe the family's helping out. I don't remember or know. But
I put, yikes, pushing through that wedding, knowing because she had that connection with Mark and she recognized it. So she knew before she married Kevin. I said, I'm dying to know what happened. Was there neglect in the swap of DNA? Was there a mistake when the brothers mailed their tests in? Did they mix up the envelopes or something? Like, what the heck?
Because clearly something happened there.
Right. And Mark has acknowledged it. She said something to him like, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And he got mad and said nothing and walked off.
Yep.
So
until after Kevin dies.
Right.
When Mark and her have a conversation at the pool and he kisses her. And then later they consummate everything. And that is this cliffhanger because Mark and Kevin's mom, basically sees him and Jade afterwards and knows that they did it.
Yeah, she walks in on them, well, not on them doing it, but on Jade leaving Mark's room in the middle of the night, basically. Yeah. So she freaks out, as any mother would. What are you doing? Your brother's wife when he's not even cold in the grave yet? Like,
right. So now Susan is glaring daggers at them. And that's it for section 3.
I just thought about when the Weasley's mom sends that howler and it starts out, how dare you?
That's perfect. That's the only thing I'm going to be able to imagine now. I wish I had had that in time for when we did the workbook club meeting. If you're reading along with us, the next section will be all the way to the end. So chapters 80 to the end. So get that read. Jump in next week to see how things wrap up and give us your opinion on that. And in the meantime, you can find us on all the socials as Working Moms Whine. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.